Breathe in the white light of courage and breathe out fear, shame, doubt, and uncertainty. Wherever you are, whoever you are, however you are, you're beautiful. And I love you, and I thank you very much for being here with me. We are all together in this field of molecular continuity. That's one of my favorite phrases I've ever heard. Molecular continuity, to describe unity. I believe it was on the Huberman Lab podcast. You guys, I bought a psychedelic compound from a legitimate business entity today outside of cannabis. I bought a gram of penis envy mushrooms from a business called the Medicinal Mushroom Dispensary. I don't know why I just drew a blank there. So for some reason that is a bit shocking to me, I didn't know you could pull up in Vancouver, go to a store, and have the opportunity to purchase the most profound, mind-altering substances on the planet. Like you buy a case of beer. So this spot that I went to and that I found through Google, they sell psilocybin mushrooms. They sell psilocybin mushroom chocolates. They sell microdose capsules. They sell LSD vials. They sell LSD gummies. They sell peyote. They sell coca leaves. They sell San Pedro. They sell ayahuasca. They sell DMT and NDMT and 5-MeO-DMT, both crystalline form and in cartridges. If you're 19 years old, you can walk in, show them your ID without any questions or screening or signing of documents. You can buy these compounds. These compounds, which have the potential to shatter your psyche. On one hand, I'm like, wow. The tides are turning, and this is a tangible example of the tides turning in terms of where we're at with psychedelics in our society. They're not even legal in Canada. It's a gray area, apparently. They can still be a legitimate business entity in Vancouver. As far as I'm concerned, or as far as I know, it's Vancouver alone where this is a possibility. So on one hand, this is a good thing because it's similar to how cannabis, the process of cannabis going from decriminalization to medicinally and therapeutically legal to recreationally legal. So, yes, I believe that we should have these compounds, these medicines, these substances, these plants available to us to utilize as tools for self-inquiry, self-exploration, healing, raising our consciousness, elevating our awareness, 1000%. On the other hand, this could be a very slippery slope. People can just walk into a store and willy-nilly buy psychedelics. So I got my mind blown today because I did not know this was a reality. And someone who has had their finger on the pulse of psychedelic culture not even close to the degree of expertise, but far more than the average human being, had no idea of this. So I pulled up to Vancouver and I was elated. I had to go see it to truly believe it. It just was such a strange thing because for my whole life, and for all of our whole lives, essentially, these substances have been demonized, stigmatized, made illegal. People have been continually thrown in cages and gotten their freedoms and liberties stripped from them over the time and course of my life. So that was quite the highlight from today as I arrived in Vancouver. And the last time I touched base was when I had first arrived in Glacier. So here we are. Welcome to Wild Bill Chronicles, Volume 3, in the Great Wild Pilgrimage of 2023. And wow, this has been a firewalk. It's been a ceremony, essentially, is what I'm recognizing it as. It's one of the most intense buttons I've pushed in terms of vehicles to new dimensions of me. None of the psychedelic journeys I've had even come close to touching what this journey has been showing me about myself. And the trials are incredibly extreme. One day, I'm confused, I'm depressed, I'm sad, I'm angry. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing out here? Because every faculty of me is being tested on a daily basis. And I've hurled myself into a lifestyle that is in complete opposition of what I've been used to my whole life. And I don't have my loved ones with me in physical form here, my community, to help me understand what is happening in my reality, because understanding or being congruent with reality is a team effort. You need corroboration. So a lot of the days I'm in an echo chamber as all these challenges show up. And man, my nervous system is getting redlined. It has on and off since I've started this trip. This is day 33, I believe. I left July 8th and we started in Denver. And then I traveled north to Wyoming, to the Grand Tetons, hung out in Jackson for a bit. Then it was Glacier National Park in Montana. And then it was the Canadian Rockies. And oh man, why has nobody come to me with the news that the Rockies are the most face-melting thing ever? I'm so grateful to be on this trip and to experience what Mother Earth has to offer. And nature is providing. I get to observe me through this process. And it's a lot to hold. It's a lot to hold, and it's a lot to alchemize into something greater. Pattern interrupt is the ultimate medicine. And putting yourself in the arena in this way, can't touch a podcast, it can't touch any personal development course, it can't touch therapy, it can't touch any books you read. I am in it. I am in the vortex. Obviously, all those things are great. They're just different. I've just never put myself in a situation that's so multidimensional in what it shows me about myself. It shows me most specifically where I'm at odds with myself and ruthlessly illuminates where I'm falling through on loving myself. And it's just throwing truth in my face. Truth is being vomited on me by the universe, and I'm drowning in the truth. And it's so easy to look away. It's so easy to avoid the best I can. Luckily, there's no getting away from it. There's no getting away from this medicine, this information that nature is transmitting to me, because I'm in it and there's no getting out. And that's a gift. Yeah, man. Some days I feel like I'm falling apart and I'm questioning all of it. I'm questioning my sanity. And then the next day, I'm having the best experience of my life on top of a mountain with people I've never met before, having incredible conversation, seeing animals I've never seen, seeing the most profound sights I've ever encountered, and not thinking a damn thing about the challenges that have been coming up. If you can hold it in your head, you can hold it in your hand. See, there's inherent privilege in me being on this trip, the universe providing me the circumstance to make this happen, to have the resources, to be in the position to travel for 3 months and really just explore. And with that being said, I committed to this. I committed to this experience because there was a calling. There was a calling with not much logic behind it. The idea presented itself in my head. That's where it started. It started as a feeling and a thought form. And then I put it down on paper. First step to materializing this experience. And now I'm here. I did a lot of work to be out here, and I'm actually working on the road a little bit, which wasn't my wisest decision. It wasn't necessary, although still helpful. So I choose the glass half full perspective there. I'm referring to some jewelry work I'm doing on the road here. Oh, man. Like I said, this is a ceremony. And I feel like an astronaut who's barely tethered to the reality I once was in at all. And through this ceremony comes an awakening. It's the most remarkable vehicle to truly connecting that I've ever experienced. It's a love story, reconnecting to my true love from within. It's a psychedelic journey. Psychedelic, the old etymology of the word psychedelic, meaning mind manifest. And ultimately, it's a reconnection to God, spirit, nature, as there's no intellectualizing that. There's only really feeling that. And I have a lot of programming telling me, steering me away from fully going into that. And what I've found on this trip is that time and time again, the most unforeseen circumstances have led to the highlights of my trip. I got food poisoning the last day I was supposed to be in Montana. I was supposed to be on my way out of Montana into Canada. I stayed at this campsite, woke up super nauseous. I was like, damn, this is weird. Didn't think too much of it, just drank some water and went about my way. And before I even left the campsite, I vomited. And then I continued to have extreme nausea and like insane fatigue. Just barely being able to hold it together energetically. So I had to get a motel. That was the only thing I could do. It wasn't the only thing I could do. It was the wisest choice, though. So much of me wanted to just push through and force my way, force myself through the suffering, thinking that, oh, well, I only have so much time on this trip and only so much time in Canada. I was in shambles. And part of my mind was telling me to continue on instead of rest. Got a motel, slept all day, vomited like 5 more times. And because this happened, although incredibly unpleasant, I actually thought I woke up with a urinary tract infection the next morning as well. Because my bladder was killing me. Upon waking up, woke up at 4:30. My plan was to leave there early, head for Yoho National Park, which is in the area of Banff, and some other parks around there. The Canadian Rockies, baby. A lot of pain. And then I was like, shit, I might have to stay here for another day. Went to bed for another hour and a half, woke up, ready to rock. No urinary tract infection as far as I know. Still was feeling a little off. My digestion was messed up. Because this happened, because I got food poisoning, the timing lined up very synchronistically for me to meet these 2 amazing individuals on my first hike in Yoho National Park after I had acquired my campground. Forgot the name of the waterfall. Spectacular, though. So I park my car. Girl walks around the back. She asks for one on the hike. I'm like, no, just got here, about to go on it. We start connecting. She's very social and charismatic and welcoming energetically, very outgoing. So we converse, and then I'm like, all right, y'all. We like exchange info because she, as I came to know, was adamant about getting people's social medias and stuff and staying up on their travels and stuff like that. Shouts out Jess. I go about my way, get to the waterfall. I go for a swim. I'm doing primal man shit, doing some breath work. I rub clay all over my body, get in the cold water. I'm doing some horse stance. I'm in my underwear. I'm barefoot, and I'm feeling so good, so charged. It was perfect. And then we re-encounter each other. We hang out. We continue to talk more. And then we walk back together. And then we're like, yo, let's go for a hike tomorrow. So the very next day, Paget Peak. Did that hike over the course of 8 or 9 hours. It was hefty. It was the steepest hike I've ever done. It was the most technical. It wasn't the longest. I forget the exact stats of the hike. Lots of elevation, scrambling, just super steep at a certain point where you're just going like, not straight up, of course, because we're not climbing like that, but hefty, strenuous hike. Before we get to the most strenuous part, we meet these 3 other, I believe, Hungarian women who live in Canada there. Awesome people. So we're just squadding up. We're traversing the mountain. We're connecting. We're having fun. We're laughing. We're cracking jokes. We get to the top, continue to have fun. All this came together because I got food poisoning, and I ended up at the right place at the right time because that had occurred. So the universe continues to lead me to the conclusion. I continue to lead me to my conclusion that the universe is unconditionally loving of me, and really all I have to do is trust. Trust. This is a big lesson that's coming through for me. Just continue to trust. If something doesn't go as planned, which it rarely does on an adventure like this, trust. It's all perfect. It's all perfectly aligned, and I will be absolutely congruent with what is ideal, despite what I think in the moment about something that's challenging or unforeseen. Same thing happened before that, backing up a little bit, when I was in Montana and I was having a rough night. I just felt low. I didn't want to go find my campsite because I was setting up and breaking down every day leading up to that. I camped for 3 days in the spot that definitely was not legitimate public land. It worked out. But yeah, I had to go find a campsite, and basically I was just like, decide, just go do it, override whatever's moving through me here, and just make the decision to go. Ashley Lake Campground. I head that way. I get there. I'm crying the whole way. Not the whole way. Good portion of the way though. I'm just cathartically releasing tears, letting energy move through my body, and it feels good. And I'm just sad. I feel lonely. I feel burnt out. It was a lot to deal with. So I get there. I see a dude with his dog, and I'm like setting up. I'm just checking the lay of the land and stuff like that. And I'm like, what's your name? Because I was at that point, there was nothing holding me back from just being in a raw state, because I had felt what needed to be felt. I could be me. There was no uncertainty of my ability to connect or anything like that, which I've experienced a lot throughout this trip. Introduced myself to this man whose name was Colin. We hit it off, get to meet his dog. We're talking about the journey. He's a solo traveler too. Man is a trip. Love you, Colin. You're a brother. We got to spend 2-3 days together following that. To remain in this portion of my experience, though, we're hanging out. He's telling me about his travels, what he's up to, how long he's been out there, 3 months, talking about the whole shindig. Easy to relate to someone that's doing the same thing as you. We have a podcast. Just put it out. It'll be the one right before this. Go check it out. We meet another man there, too. His name's Rob. I forget his last name. He's a 72-year-old man traveling on his motorcycle from Tennessee to Alaska, the tip of Alaska. So we're all hanging. We're all solo travelers, and the vibe is just so right. We have a soul contract. Something within us is synergizing because oh my God, fucking beeping. So annoying. Something within us was connecting on a deep level without really even consciously recognizing that. It was just the flow was so on point. And we just connected like we had known each other for years, all three of us. So the universe had provided another beautifully connective experience once again on the other side of a serious challenge, something I didn't want to do. I didn't want to go do this. I just committed. So God, spirit, nature, without me having a full grasp of how this happened, led me to these moments that showed me the light and showed me why this is all worth it and why this is the biggest golden opportunity of my life to be on this trip. And it's going to come with the darkness. And like a wise man once said, character, like a photo, develops in darkness. And that's sure been my experience. So I've bounced around a little bit in terms of what I've been going through and what this has all been about for me and the meaning that it has. It's a ceremony. It's a ceremony. It's a vehicle. It's a vehicle that's showing me what I truly am. And I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for me, for committing to me, to being out here and showing up every day so that I can retrieve the fruits. The fruits are very present. They're all around me. Will I get out of my own way so that I can eat the fruits? That's the question. And that's a tricky thing to discern. Do I need rest or do I need to get out there? Do I get to get out there? Do I get to rest? Do I get to get out there to create another experience that gives me the most full feeling I'll ever feel? Because there's infinite possibilities while being out here. So all these amazing occurrences have just happened. They've just showed up at the perfect times. I've had awesome adventures and awesome connections, and I've cried and I've laughed and I've sung and I've danced. If you're feeling a nudge towards doing something and the mind is telling you, but what about this, man? What's your mom going to think? What are your friends going to think? How could you ever go about doing that? How could you get the money? How could you allot the time? That would be a waste of time for you to go on a 3-month road trip to see the world and really just crack yourself open. That's what this has been for me. Cracking my heart wide open. No choice. So uncomfortable. So beautiful at the same time. The most I've felt in a minute. If you're on the ledge and you're looking over it, like, do I jump? Do I not jump? Each decision will provide its own unique offering. The king says yes. The queen says yes. Say yes to your heart. Say yes to your heart with courage. With courage. And no risk, no magic, baby. Put yourself in the arena. If there's something that's calling you, if it's pulling you, if there's a thread, and you know, yet the mind presents uncertainty and doubt, do it. Do it now. Because we're all going to die. And it's time to act like it. The Great Wild Pilgrimage of 2023. I'm going out in Vancouver tonight. I spent too much money on this hotel room, and I'm going to make the most of it because I'm right in the middle of downtown. And this is going to be my last day in Canada. Canadians are so wonderful. Thank you, Canada. I'm going to part ways now. This has been a pleasure. This has felt so good. This has felt like my most authentic podcast or solo cast yet. Wild Bill Chronicles. Lots of insecurity coming up around producing these and just in general. My ability to connect, my ability to create, my ability to express myself, experiencing insecurity. Because basically what I'm doing here is I'm falling out of plane. I'm free falling, baby. I'm free falling. And there's no climbing back up. The ego plays tricks. I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. I don't even know why I said that. All right. What do I want to leave y'all with? Stay tuned for offerings on my Instagram at Wild Bill Wellness. I have a goal setting play shop on the horizon with my brother Ryan Witherspoon. Sunday, the 13th, this Sunday. And would love to have you there. This will be out before that for sure. $33 per head, 10 spots total. Let's put some shit in motion. Let's take some leaps. Let's take some action towards the most gangster life we possibly can, with the support of community and with the help of utilizing a powerful framework we have to share. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, I am also open to that in the form of providing guidance with the tools and wisdom I have acquired over my years of being a human. If you're feeling like you're in a rut, if you have an important decision to make, if there's some goals you want to set, if there's some big changes you want to make, I have practical methods for leading people through these things and getting great results. So I offer one-on-one support. I can offer group support. Let's connect. I'm happy to schedule a Zoom call, whether it leads to anything or not. I would love to say hello, have a conversation. Excellent. All right, y'all. I love you so much. Keep it going. Keep it growing. Keep it a-hoeing. As a wise man once said, a.k.a. my ice and iron boys. All right, smooches.